But frugality is something I can comment on.
Yeah, and also frugality, means having constraints, having limitations. And these two factors are the engine of innovation. So for us, the fact of being a bit outside of the mainstream, it means that we have peace of mind for thinking. The fact that now we are getting serious resources, but during a long time we were, let's say, having also serious limitations. And I think this is a fantastic driver to think out of the box, to look at things and really focus on the essential. And I always tell to my students or to the people with whom I work that look at things differently. Look at things in a way that you can make a difference. If you go to the mainstreams, most of the discoveries, stuff might be already taken or thought or protected, but if you take a different angle, everything changes. And the change of perspective for me is super fruitful, super interesting, and I think it's something we are trying to build into our initiatives, from the business models to the products to the teachings to the research we are doing. This is a common feature. Just looking at things differently, and you might also discover totally unanticipated discoveries. Yeah.
What are you actually most excited about looking forward when you see all you have accomplished so far? What today is the most exciting thing you can foresee?
I mean, two things that really today are really what excite me the most is seeing these young, bright minds that can work any place they want in the world decide to come here to make a difference. I mean, we hire very, very smart young people. I'm impressed on what they do every day. I mean, you have many examples. And these people could work any place they want in the world, and they choose to come for IPD because of in their country or their continents, and because they feel that they have to do. It's for me what I'm really the most excited, and it's a matter of pride for me. That's really, really important. And the other thing is, relating to what Xavier was saying, the narrative of Africa as a place where things can happen, can make a huge difference. When you see innovation like M-Pesa, when you see that people today has discovered here the homegrown lineage, and these sort of things change completely the narrative. And again, I was talking about equity. If people sitting in the world best place and say that we have to go and collaborate in the place where people are, in terms of context, living in a very vulnerable and poor environment, so they can work together, that's for me the idea that science brings equity, and the real mission of science is really achieved. So that's why I'm very excited. If I see the future, that's what excites me the most. The fact that people are going to solve problems because they believe in science, and this science would come from the young people that decide after they learn in different places of the world that they're going to make a difference in their community. That's really what excites me the most.
Xavier, how about you?
I think we used to say Africa is the cradle of humanity for evolutionary reasons, but I think Africa is also the future of humanity in terms of demography, resource, new ideas, political systems, moving from very authoritarian to very novel political organization, social organization, and this for me is super exciting. It's on a daily basis, observing with my colleagues, learning a new culture, learning a new social and geopolitical order being put in place, seeing ambition in people returning, dividing their salary by 2 or by 3 to be here because it's the place to be, it is the momentum, as Amadou was mentioning. But also, I think I like to surprise people and getting surprised. And honestly, IPD is full of surprise. Not always the one you are expecting, but it is a very surprising place. And it's a mixture of thrill, fun, deep moments, beautiful encounters. I think I have made some encounters that will change my life, that have already changed my life. And I'm very proud about that. It's something unexpected, but there is an energy, there is a possibility of building the future differently. I've been growing in the first world, or in a place where everything is structured, ordered, with a long history, so you are carrying also a burden as a heritage. Here there is also a long heritage, but things are less structured, there is more space for, I would say, coming up with new ideas. And also it's a smaller country, so you can deploy, you can test, you can change much easily than in, I would say, more established country. And I think the last point where I'm very proud to contribute is if our day-to-day work, Amadou, the colleagues, myself, could contribute to root the peace and have people creating and making a whole new generation of people that are likely to change Senegal, West Africa, the continent, and the rest of the world, I would be happy to have contributed my time, energy, and youth still in this endeavor.
I feel like the daily work you guys are doing here is so valuable, makes so much sense for you, but also for so much people that you were saying it earlier, Amadou. We will also need to meet those very interesting people, very passionate team members you guys have had the chance to have here at CARE. Maybe the last question for you, both of you, why was it so important to have what I've had the chance to see, the mobile lab? You guys have, I think, more than one mobile labs, but why was it important for you to have and I think already deployed those instruments here in Africa? You can go first.
Okay, so I was just, I spent probably 25 years of my life doing epidemics in different parts of the world, and my job was most of the time to investigate, diagnose people, and see how the disease is spreading so we can control it. One of the missing link has always been, in most of the area I was going, was a lab that would help detect who is infected and who is not, which have all sort of consequences. And the main reason is because there's not people or the technology or the right setting to make that happen in a safe condition. So for years, what we were doing is bringing all our staff, open it, set up a lab, go back. What the mobile lab is bringing you is the setting, like under one hood, and be operational day one. So that's one of the biggest value. So this, what you saw, is one version of mobile lab. But we created lab in a suitcase that was very, very interesting in Ebola context to move and be agile in different places. What we have here right now is a pure gathering of top technology that can be made available to the people that need it the most and in a poorest context. So that's why I think this lab is critically important. And we have actually really to thank and be grateful to the Presence Foundation, where the founders and innovator called Rudy Powers has really created the first version of this lab out of a mission in Sierra Leone where he was sort of shocked at the way we're dealing with an Ebola outbreak with such a limited resource in a way that can be improved. And it designed a whole lab in terms of comfort, in terms of security, in terms of tools that are available, by having all that in mind. And he was humble enough to say, okay, this is the first version, let me work with real experts and improve it over time. And that's how we came to work together, the first version, and they designed a new version that is even better and more in line with that. So all that happened in mobile labs is very exciting and is a game changer as long as you can move the right version of it And I'll probably leave to Xavier to talk more about this new one that he has been instrumental to bring here and has been one of the main users to train people or to use on a daily basis.
Yeah, so I will finish by a bit of mathematics, okay? So in mathematics there is a property called commutativity, which says that A times B is the same as B times A. But unfortunately, life is not commutative. I give you a very simple example. Going to the toilet and peeing is not the same as peeing and going to the toilet. The result is very different. So in the past, we had people coming to our labs for receiving treatments, making analytics, etc., etc. Now, we are doing the reverse, but we are bringing the lab to the people. And very fortunately, we are not seeing the same people. So we are now able to convey and translate value to people that were forgotten or doesn't have a chance to access these healthcare services. And what is super interesting, inspiring, and game-changing is by the simple fact of bringing services to the field, you learn and you discover new needs. You learn and discover new use cases. I'll give you a very simple example. So we basically agreed on getting this prototype, let's say the second version of this, initially the prototype to us, the Bioneer 2 product, for response and being able to attend crisis and epidemics or possible risks of epidemics. But suddenly it turns out that this truck is also equipped and useful for doing some clinical services into the regions. So at 600 kilometers from Dakar, finding a clinical lab is difficult. And this truck could really make a tour, a journey, collecting samples, delivering results in a place where it's hard to build or bring the machines. So it's a totally new use case that we are exploring.